all. Sorry for slight technical delay. So, both as a feedback, right, and as well as what we are going to do today. Okay, will be slightly broken down into topic-wise things. We'll be going a little fast also, but obviously the video will be there for you to enjoy and practice. Okay. One thing we keep saying always, right, is problem solving. So how was the assignment, the last handholding? How many of you have completed? Good. How many of you have completed in the first hour? First 1 hour. Okay, second 1 hour. Okay, was it? The story essentially goes like this. During the war, there is the Kaurava side and the Pandava side, right? Okay, and you will realize why I am choosing this particular story. So there is this Kaurava side and the Pandava side. So Kaurava's army is slightly bigger, almost twice. So they have a size advantage. Okay, on top of that they are playing many other tricks, which is good. So what happens is, they come up with a trick. So they decide to do what is called as a formation, a particular kind of a formation which is very tricky to escape. So you make a formation and you start moving your army in front so that you start capturing the other people one by one and kill them. But they can't escape. That's the whole plan, right? The word for it is Chakravyuh. So it's a very specific advantage. Nobody knows the details of what it was, but you only need to understand one thing. If you start getting captured into it, you can't escape. Now there were only 2 people on the Pandava side who knew how to escape it. Who were those 2 people? Arjun and Krishna. Okay. Now the problem for Krishna is problem solving. Okay. The problem for Krishna is, he said, I am not going to fight the war. I am not going to raise the weapon. That is the first problem. Right? So all your knowledge, right, if you are not going to do anything, is useless. Right? Even if you are God. Now, the second person, Arjuna, he went through a phase. Right? Just like the students who appear in the SSC examination, right? He went through a phase. Right at the start of the war, he had a nervous breakdown. Okay, so he said, I am not going to fight the war, just like the kid says, I am not going to appear for the exam. Right? So he said, I am not going to fight the war. And then there is this whole dialogue and whatever, the war starts, but he is still in the phase. The problem that happens is, he gets challenged by someone when this particular formation takes place, and what he does, they had only one job. They knew they would get defeated, but they had only one job. Challenge him and start running. So this guy like, how can somebody challenge me? I am the best, arrow master in the world, bow and arrow master in the world. How can somebody challenge me? Go after him. And Krishna looks at him and says, why are you acting like an idiot again? He's clearly trying to fool you. This time he completely forgets who's sitting in front of me. And he says, see, you are my charioteer, you are supposed to follow my orders, go after him. Like, okay, your wish. So they go. So in behind them, now both, those who knew how to break the formation, both of them are in one single shot. Problem solving. Right? क्या बोलते हैं उसको हिंदी में? I don't know. There's possibly a saying around it. Sort of like really challenge somebody's ego, right? खुद ही पे लेना kind of thing. Now, the formation happens, and now everybody realized they are going to get killed one by one. So there is this boy called Abhimanyu, and he knew only how to enter it. He didn't know how to break it and come out, but he knew how to enter it. So he can hold it. As long as you can enter it, right, you can hold it there long enough, possibly for the day. He succeeds, but he dies. And the reason why he dies is because there is this person called as Jayendras who holds the other Pandava army behind him. So they cannot come to help him. Now why? Why nobody can break Jayendra that day? So apparently Jayendra had two boons. Okay, one given by the great Mahadev. We'll hear another story about Mahadev soon. Right? One given by great Mahadev. And the boon given to him by Mahadev is, you will be able to hold the army. Right? No army will be able to defeat you only for one day. So that is this day. And the second boon was given by his own father. Whoever kills you, he will also die. This is known, right? So with both sides there is a problem. For that one day, obviously nobody can defeat him. And even if somebody defeats him, he is going to die. That is applicable throughout. That is not just one day. That is applicable throughout. Lifetime warranty. Okay? Now, that day passes. Arjun realizes his son is dead. It was his own stupidness which resulted into this. He went after some stupid challenge. So never take up a stupid challenge. Even if it is given as an assignment. So there is a big learning here. As long as the challenge is stupid, and even if you accept it, God can't help you. Okay? Somebody is going to die. So now he makes another problem. Right? What he says, oh, how can he kill my son? He forgets that that's a war, right? So somebody is going to die. How can somebody kill my son? Tomorrow, I am going to kill that Jayendra, and if I can't kill him by sunset, I am going to kill myself. And like everybody is first of all in shock, but there is one person there, Krishna standing there. पागलों के ऊपर पागलपंती क्यों किए जा रहे हैं? पहले कल किया, आज बोल रहे हैं कल उसको शाम तक नहीं मारूंगा तो मैं खुद मर जाऊंगा. But there is an advantage in what he said. He kept himself ready to die. Right? Either he is going to kill him. See, if you kill him, you are going to die anyways. But if you are not going to kill him, you will kill yourself anyways. Right? So there is an advantage on this side. On the other side, Kauravas find an advantage too. They said, oh, you know what? This guy is going to kill himself anyways. Let us try and protect our person till the sunset. अगर उसको मारा फिर भी मरेगा, नहीं मारा एटलीस्ट अपना बंदा तो बचेगा तो उनका मरेगा. Right? So it is their problem, sir. Now, how will you do this, right? On the other side, Krishna has to do a problem solving. He has to get the other person killed, but protect his person. Now how? So what he does is he tries to find out more about the boon. And the boon was not exactly stated like this. Always remember the problem statement. What was the problem statement of the boon? The problem statement of the boon was, it was not stated as one who kills him is going to die. It is given as one who causes his head to fall on the ground is going to die. Get the difference? Are both the things same? No. So if I directly kill you, obviously I am going to cause your head to fall on the ground. But there is a workaround now. So all that thing happens. The famous story is Ha Surya and Ha Jayendra, because the sun gets eclipsed towards the end. Everybody thinks it's night. So Jayendra thinks he is won, and now he wants to see how Arjuna is going to kill himself. So he proudly comes in front of him and says, now go and kill him. By the time the eclipse goes away, and they are like both next to each other. Okay? At that one particular time, Krishna reminds him, you have to kill him in such a way, that you cut his neck and make sure his head goes and falls on the lap of his own father. Right? So he shoots the arrow, it severs his neck, the head goes and falls on the lap of his own father, who was like sitting like, Om Namah Shivaya. When he opens his eyes, he sees the head of his own son, he gets shocked, he stands up, the head falls down, and who dies? Problem solved. Right? Read between the lines. So I was hearing the statement like, I'm not understanding how to move the two things, how to move those two shapes. Sometimes it is not about moving. And if you probably just define it correctly, right, you probably realize it is not about moving. We are not reading between the lines. We are too attached to what we are saying on the screen. So should we try to solve that problem quickly enough? Let us see whether it is possible to solve within the first 1 hour, right? I don't have anything on the screen, okay? But let us try and see whether we can solve that problem. So what was the problem? Can somebody tell me? Who can tell me? You have to tell me the problem. Okay, what was the shape to start with? Okay. Can you say the shape? Can you read out the shape once again? What was the shape?
Rounded square.
Okay. So there is still one part before that, right? Rounded square.
Square.
Rounded corner square, right? But it is still a square at the end, right? Why don't we just draw the square to start? How do we do that? We enable the pen extension, right? What I'm going to do, right, is I'm just going to say go to 0, 0 at the start and then point in the direction 90. Okay. It's on, right? Yeah, it is on. Yeah, it is on here. Okay. All right. So this is at this particular point. We'll also make sure we have erased everything and pen was, or like, let's do this. Let's erase things here. So this is fine, no matter where it is, it will get erased. So we have this setup, right? Now we need a square. How do you draw a square? Let's make a block. Okay. And let's probably define, right? So move 100, then what, right? By how much? This is common, right? So we'll just duplicate it. But before that, obviously, we need a pen down, right? So pen down. Oops, what is the problem? We didn't do this. Yeah. What is the problem? Oh, I mean, I've got the image done. Right? As long as I'm getting it, that's fine, right? Right now, my problem is not that it is not happening at the end of the flag click. When that becomes the problem, we'll do that. So have I got a square? See, I can clear it, and now I can do this. What is the problem now? Aren't we jumping the steps? Don't we see any other problem here? From the center. It's not from the center, right? To get that shape, we need things at the center. Now, there are few things that we say, right? Keep in mind, okay? Where is the center? It is here, right? If this point, we need to move in the center, that is here, on the x side, when it is here, right? This particular point here should move in this direction, correct? Is it clear how it is? See, there is a point here. And where is the center? Which side? From this point, where is the center? It's at the left side, correct? And where is the, on the x side it is left, on the y side? Top or down? Where is the center? See, center of the square is here, but where is the center of the screen? On the y side it is top, and on this side it is left, right? So, ask yourself, if we need to get this at the center, right? What should we do? If we need to get it at the center, we have to move the center of the square to the left on the x side. To the left is minus. So let us first do that, right? So we have to get it at the center, right? So let us first move it to the center. So we would say move, no, not pen down, right? Pen down is too early here. By how much?
50.
Why 50? Correct. So another thing that another mistake that we generally do right here is we say 50. This is not a maths class. Do not say 50. Let the computer do the calculation. So for us, it is minus of half of this 100, which is there. You will see why it becomes important. Okay. So these are all the techniques. Okay. Keep that in mind. Don't try to calculate and give the answer to the computer. Computer is meant to give the answer to you. Do not try and calculate. Okay. It causes a problem later. So for us, it should be 0 minus, is it correct? 100 by 2? So that makes it, did that make any difference? I don't see any difference. Oh yeah, correct. Okay, so you will not see the difference till we probably change the backdrop. And let's add a backdrop and grid. So on the x side, right, it is the square is at the center, correct? What about on the y side? We have to move it up. So it is this point, right? This point in the center of the screen is here. So this point needs to go up. So up is positive or negative? Positive. Right? So let's go here. And let's do that also. So we will say move. Where is move? Okay. Again, or is it 0 minus? Do I need to do that? No, right? So again, 100 by 2. What should I do? Can I directly move?
Direction.
We have to turn first, right? So turn by how much? We have to look at, make him look down, right? Or the up. So if I have used this, how do I make him look up? I can just say minus 90, right? Right? And then we can say move 100 by 2 and then we have done this. So there. Oops. What is the problem here?
Pen up.
So for that particular reason, we now need to go back to the pen and we have to make sure that we have set pen up. It went bit too high. Why?
Starting point. Started from there.
We didn't rotate it back. We rotated it, then we moved him up, but he should have again started looking at the right. That we didn't realize. Right? So that's a clean slate. Keep that in mind. So no, not this one, right? So done by 90. So now we have a square at the center. Only one point though, the cat is not at the center. So let us get cat also back at the center, right? How do we do that? See, you are all looking at the code. Focus on the questions. Because next time this code is not going to come. And you again will need to read in the lines. If you are recording, record the questions. Because those questions won't change. Right? What you are trying to remember is which arrow was thrown by Arjun in which way, only to realize that you have been given a machine gun. The problem is same. You have to win the war without getting killed. But you don't have bow and arrow. So the story doesn't apply. Right? The semantics of the story doesn't apply. We have to now see. Now the cat is here. Move by? Correct. So we will say move by 100 by 2. Correct? Is that correct? So if I go back here and do this, and then we have to get him down also. Pen up. pen up. So this is the point we need pen up, right? Otherwise it will draw that center line, correct? But we have to get him down. How will we get him down? Okay, turn 90, then again move. So essentially this whole thing repeats. Oops. So what should we do now? 180. All the way on the other side, right? No? Yeah. You got it? Let's go and revert the costume. And maybe we can hide the cat. So you got it at the center. Can we make the squares rotate? How do we make the squares rotate? If I need to now rotate it, what do I need to do? Did I ever said anywhere to rotate you need to make a block? So that is why I am saying, like, don't look at the code.
We need to turn that.
You need to turn the cat. Just because you made a block cat, the square is not going to rotate, right? Okay, I make a block. What happens? Did the square turn now? No, right? You have to turn the cat. So let us probably try doing that. Let us say turn by 15 degrees. Okay, and then we put the square. So where is the square? Here. So probably if I do this and then do this, it turns. And if I keep changing this number, it turns more. Correct? So I can keep turning it simply by changing that number. Is that right? But what do I need to do next is, there is a problem. I mean, am I going to enter the number here every time? Correct. So that number has to come from somewhere, right? Now you need a block. Okay. So what we need is a rotating square. Are you recording the questions or are you recording the answers? Because the questions will remain the same, the answers are going to change. Okay. See, I am smart that way. If I am showing you the answer, right, next time I am not going to give the same problem. So, rotating square, and maybe we have an angle. Okay. And now I'm going to put this here. And this angle is going to come here. So whatever angle I am going to start at, what should be the next angle? So I have to increase this angle value, right? So I need an operator. I'm going to say plus, and I'm going to say angle plus 1. Correct? So if I go back here, and if I do this, that's the next problem to solve. It's not erasing. So let us put erase. And is that going to solve my problem now? Hooray! It's going a bit too fast. Okay. Let us sort of slow it down. What is also happening, right? It is also drawing at the same time, correct? So it's sort of go here and says run without screen refresh. And hopefully that should solve the problem for us. It's actually going too fast. Maybe we say 0.05.
Increase the number.
What should we do?
Increase the number. 0.5.
Uh,
Make it 5.
5 will make it too fast. Right? It's making it too fast. Value for angle, by default, since I just clicked on it, right? It was not specified, and that's a number. It starts with 0. Right? So what should we do? So let's put some weight there, right? We need some weight. So in control, let us say after erase. So what is happening, right? It is drawing and getting erased. So you are seeing the frames in any order. So let us possibly say 0.1, right? And flickering. So what is happening is it's erasing. Sorry, it should possibly come somewhere here. Wait. So it's too much here. So maybe we say 0.1. And let's see whether it is. Is it turning now?
Later on, it's increasing the angle.
It's increasing the angle.
It will increase, accelerate.
So what is happening, right, is the angle is increasing. And we are saying turn by that angle. If it is turned by that angle, right, if it is just turning, we can just say turn by that angle whatever number of times, right? Do we need this? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say edit, and I'm going to remove this parameter. Right? So this is not required. I'll simply say rotate by angle here, and this is not required. Now it's going fine. The angle is not jumping. Correct? So if I now say 2, this is correct, or maybe I remove the weight. Is this better? Right? Okay. So I have got the first part. Now let us forget this rotating square, right? Let's talk about this square itself. We need that pattern. Sir, you are again copying the code. Okay? Next time I should not hear the reason that you couldn't complete it because you didn't remember the questions. And I can say that because I have seen everyone's code and everybody has all those not required parameters in the blocks. Right? I've completed half of it without even needing any of them. Correct? Now let us draw that pattern. So what is that pattern about? So this is the square, but what is that pattern about? Double square, right? So we can rather say pattern or double square. Correct? Do we need a input? We don't need an input, right? So let us draw a double square. I'm going to make the cat visible. So the double square starts with square. Obviously, right? It's a double square, so it starts with square. So yeah, I've got one square. But now I need another square. So I'm going to put the other square. What happened? Correct. Into turn, right? So turn by how much? 45. Okay? There is another problem. The cat is now looking in a different direction. Correct. So let's turn it back, right? So okay. So I'm going to make the cat invisible, and instead of this square here, I am going to say not rotating, sorry, double square, right? Now Okay, it's not yet 1 hour, okay, since we started. Now we need to have an edge. We need to draw the edge, like curved edge, right? So what would happen if we do the curved edge? We need some radius, right? Okay, but before we draw the curve, right, let's change the problem. Curve is nothing but, or arc is nothing but a part of a circle. Correct. So let us draw the circle, but if we are drawing the square from the center here, we also need a circle from the center. Correct? So how do we draw a circle from the center? Let us try and draw a circle from the center. For that, let us ignore this. Okay? We need a circle from the center. From the center. Let's start with that first. So make a block, because now we know we need to repeat some things, right? And the way we do that, right, is we move to that one point, we put a dot, we come back, and we remove the dot. Tea time? Okay. Let's have a tea break. Till then, I'll just write the name of the block. What happened? We'll finish and we'll go? So they want to finish and go? Okay. So, circle, we need to know the angles that we need to do, right? For the full circle, we need to do 360. So I will again say angle. Okay? Take a look, okay, how I am approaching it. So I have a circle and I have an angle. So the steps that I am going to do, right, is okay, forget it. Let's remove it. I jumped. Let us remove this, right? The idea is very simple. You do a pen up. Okay, you do a pen up. After you do a pen up, you move by a certain number. That is your radius. Correct? You do a pen down there. So you put a dot. Then you again do a pen up. So you don't trace the path back, and then move back to the center, wherever you are. So motion. How will we move back? Whatever distance, wherever we are, right, we need to move the exact distance back. 0 minus. So operators is 0 minus the same number, right? 100. Then turn by one angle and repeat the whole step. So we do a turn by one angle and we repeat the entire step. Right? How do we repeat the entire steps? Correct? So we call the same circle again, right? Would this solve the problem? It is. But if I watch it, right, it will continue to keep on doing this. It should not do that. It should stop the moment it completes at 360. Correct? So this angle, whatever this rotation is, right, should stop the moment it reaches 360. So I need to count the steps now, or rather count his angles. Right? As soon as the angle reaches 360, we are done. Okay? So if I want to count it, right, I have to take that as an input. Right? I am going to have the starting value, then the next value, then the next value. Finally, I will check whether it has reached the total value, and then I will stop. To do that, I am going to accept the input, right? Or we should let us say angle, and I need a condition. So if else, right? So this is entirely an else part, and if is going to check whether the angle has now become 0. Correct? So sorry, not here. Operators. If the angle has become 0, we stop. But in order to do that, right, I now need to go back here and call that block circle and pass 360. But we have not increased the angle. Correct. Now we'll solve that problem. Right? Small problem at a time. So it does not become a headache. If you make a lot of problems, right, by copying code from here and there, you have a lot of problems to solve. Okay, so we'll add or remove, subtract? Subtract, correct. So we'll say operators and we will say this angle minus 1, right? So, it is drawing it. It will stop also. Let us verify that. But we don't want it to be this low. Stopped. Correct? So this is correct. This is perfectly correct. Right? But I don't want it to be this low. So I am going to say run without screen refresh. Right? So now if I go and clear and say do this, it comes pretty quick enough. But there is a problem. Two set of problems. One, I know I'm going to use a different arc there. First of all, so I need different sizes, right? So in order to do that, I need to have a size parameter or a radius, you can say. So let us take radius, right? Whatever that radius is, and that radius is going to be this same number here and there. Correct?
Down.
Where?
Empty space.
And we need to pass the same radius back, right? So let's say if I say radius 50, did it help? No?
We didn't.
There. Correct? So I am now having for the radius 50, I can now have for radius 10 also. Did it happen? We didn't run, I think, right? So yeah, there. Is this good enough? Good enough radius for us? Let us again do it for 100. We need to solve another problem. When you are drawing it, right, there are arcs from various angles coming into picture, right? So whichever angle is there right now, from there we need to draw an arc. So that could be of 90 degrees or whatever. So let us go step by step at this point, and we will see how this is going to go, okay? When I'm going to do a slight change now in my square, and we will go step by step, okay? Let us go step by step, for which I'm going to now remove this, and I am going to remove this entire pen down process also, okay? Or rather, let me do one thing. I can't duplicate this also. So let me make another block, another square for a reference, okay? So square reference. So we'll use the square reference, we'll duplicate this entire thing, we'll keep it here. So this becomes our reference. Why am I using it? Why am I using this? Because I'm going to call both of them now. And I'm going to change one, the other I will keep as a reference to know whether it has worked properly or not, okay? So this is the square, and this square I am going to change to have a rounded corner. So let us go step by step. Before pen down, okay, so I am going to clean it, square, and now where is the cat? It is here at this particular point, correct? I need to start by drawing that radius here, for which where should I move the cat? What is this whole distance? 100, correct? So if I want to have that circle here to get the edge, should I just move it here and then will the circle appear, or should I move it slightly behind?
Behind.
Correct? So, see, I can get that circle drawn from here, correct? But I need to sort of move it to the center. If that circle is going to come here, center is going to come here, correct? So what is this point now? What is that point? Center of the circle. Correct. So we have to get him here, then we have to move him to the center in order to draw the whole shape. Okay? So let us start one step at a time, okay? And let us see how it goes. How would we do that? Now, this is the last tricky part. Once we get this right, everything else is done. And we will see how quickly that becomes. How much behind should this be?
10.
10.
So I can make him move 100 steps
Minus 7.
minus whatever the radius is that I want. So let us say 10 for now. Okay. So I will say move 100 minus 10 or 100 minus 50. Should we say 100 minus 50 to start with? You can increase it later. Okay, because 50 is visible, right? Oh wait, but 100 minus 50 is going to be almost half, right? So the whole thing will become a circle. So 20. Okay, so let us do 20. So 100 minus 20. Again, do not calculate. Okay, because the moment you calculate, right, the number goes away, then you are saying, where is that 80 coming from? So 100 minus 20. This 100 is the size of the square. Now it's there at that point. From this point, we need to draw an arc of a given number. How do we now draw an arc from this point? How do we draw an arc from this point? So I can now probably put that circle and just say 90. Okay? So should we try? Why not give it a try, right? Okay? So 90 degrees, correct? 90 degree arc, and if you draw it on the paper, right? 90 degree arc and 20 was the radius, correct? So let us try. This is the original square. See the arc. What is the problem? It drew it at a different point. It drew it, but at a different point. Which point did it draw? Which point is it drawing?
We should make it go down and then draw.
We should probably make it go down and then draw it, right? Okay. So what are these points? So these are the points also that we can consider, correct? Have you considered that?
Yes, yes.
There are, see, this is our bigger circle, square. But if we consider where our arc centers are, right, they also form a square. Isn't it? Have you noticed it?
Yes.
They also form a square. What are those points?
Inner circle. What I said.
In terms of the length, see, if you need to now connect all those dots, right? What are those points? Confused?
100 minus 20.
100 minus 20? Let us try drawing it, right? So in order to do that, right, first, what I am going to do is let me change this square reference here. And there is all 100, 100, 100, 100 here, right? I am going to take a parameter and I am going to say give a size, okay? Edit, input, size. Is that correct? Now this size will go here, this size will go here, this size will go here, here, here. That this is my reference, right? So I am drawing the outer one. I will draw the inner one also for a reference, so that we know which is the exact point where our center should come. I am experimenting, right? I don't know the answers. Is this good enough? So now probably if I call a square reference for a size, so let me do this together, okay? Square reference and then a square. Okay, let us see what happens. So we have here, I'll keep two square references. Okay? One of size 100 and the other you said center is 100 minus 20. Okay? So let's say the other one is, see, I'm not going to calculate. I'm going to say it is 100 minus 20, right? Because 20 is radius. Let us see how the square looks like. They look like this. Okay? But if I make him do this point here, right? Have you noticed it? And this point doesn't match.
100 minus twice the 20.
100 minus twice the 20. You know why? You know why? Because there is a circle here, there is a circle here also. So the radius is getting subtracted from two sides. So that is the double subtraction. So you can do it two ways. You can either subtract it twice or you can simply multiply this by 2. So 22, correct? Now let us try the same thing again. Is this correct now? I have got an inner circle going in favor of me. Inner square, rather. All I need to do first, before drawing this outer border, if I trace the same square, go to each of those points without plotting the line. If I trace the same step, go here, draw an arc, 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 I'm done. Isn't it? That's all I need to do. So to start with, what I would do is from this point, let's say if I go to this point, draw an arc, circle, it'll come back till this point, correct? We'll do it this way. Which side is it facing? It was facing down. Because it, how did it draw? Did it draw from this side or that side? Which angle is it facing? It's watching down. Why did it watch down? Because that was the last dot it made. Correct? So let us draw all the other edges that we need. But this is not the edge we wanted here. Is that the edge we wanted there? So let us draw this square edges first, right? So I am going to call this the square or what? Curved edges. Okay? So this is going to be my curved edges. Okay? Curved edges. Now I am not yet talking about the size. But if my size is 100, so this is going to be this particular thing, right? Can it be 100 now? I am just drawing those edges. It cannot be 100, right? So let us do one stuff, right? Let us take this off now. Now I am going to duplicate this whole thing here. So curved edges with size. Be careful with the naming convention. If you make this capital, it will not work. Now I am going to use this curved edges because it is an internal one. Only thing I don't need to do at this point of time is pen down. But I have got everything correct for me. I can start from this edge. So forget about being penned down. Correct? This size, okay, this size is going to be that 100 minus the radius, correct? So, what should we do here? We should say size and the radius, we'll see. But we don't need the pen down at the moment. Now let us draw the first curve. Because let us see where he is, right, at this point. So, curved edges Curved edge is for, this is the size. Same size, right? As the inner one. It's here. Now where should he draw the curve? Where should he draw the curve? You are understanding what I am saying? At this particular point, where the curve should be? How? From this point to this point. This value is 180 and this is 90. See, it's currently here, right? I'll reduce the size, okay, of the sprite so you can see it. Or should I just make it a bit bigger? Can you see it? This is the point and this is the curve I want. This is the point and this is the curve I want. If I want that, what is my starting angle and what is my ending angle?
270.
This is 270 or this is 180? 180. So this is 180, correct? It's like, or this is 90 actually. So this is 0, right? So this is 90, 180, 270, correct? So 270 and 0. But if I say 270 and 0, right, it will go all the way like this. So this is, it will start tracing it back. So we can say this is 0, right? We can start from, or this is 360? No. 360 will be a full circle. What would be this one? So 90, 180, 270.
It will start from that side.
This is 0, correct? So this becomes 360.
But it will start from, it will start drawing from this side.
No. What I am asking is forget that. He is at this point, but the curve I want is this.
270 and 360.
So 360 we can start from, and then we go all the way to 270 because we are decreasing the angles, correct? So right now we said 360, we are going all the way to 0. So we are decreasing. So in terms of decreasing angles, what are the two numbers?
-9.
Correct? 360 and 270, correct? So I will modify my circle code to take two angles, starting angle and the ending angle. So let us go to my circle and let us try experimenting with this. Okay, edit. And what we need is the starting and the ending angle. Start angle, or should we just say this is the start angle? And end angle. Okay? Start angle, end angle. Do not bother to look at the code, okay? See what I am trying to say, because you will not get the explanation. Start angle, end angle. Now, at any point of time, right, we have to always face in the angle I have asked. Which angle am I asking him to look at? Which angle? Which angle? Start angle, right? So, here, what we will say, right, this turn will go away now. The way I am modifying this is pen up, look in the direction I am asking you to look at, which is your start angle, and continue. So, point in the direction no, that's not going to work, right? Because if you turn it, it is going to be an absolute angle. That won't work. Instead, we have to say turn by. So this is not going to work. Edit. So let's give this angle. So I'm making the mistakes around it. Okay. So we want to keep it same where we are, but we need to say turn by. And then we'll count 0 from that point. Okay. So at the start, by how much should we turn by?
180.
for it to work?
180.
So let us see this process, right? So okay, we are here, right? Curved edges. So the process here, where is that? Where is the curved
Down,
edges?
down,
Did we draw it? Did we make the circle?
down.
Now where? There is a square reference, right? Square reference is this one. And then, okay, we have not yet drawn. Okay. So how should we draw? Where at this particular point? Correct. Let us first draw that. In order to draw it, I have to first turn by that much angle. That is, I have to start looking here and then decrease by 90. So in order to turn all the way, how much is that angle? I need to turn all the way like this, looking this point. How much is that? 270, right? 180 plus 90. Right? So that is 270. So let us try that, right? So turn right by, or I do this here. Turn right by 270. Let us see if this goes correct. Okay. Okay, it is looking at that point. And then we can say draw that circle. So where is that circle? The first step is angle, right? So what should we say? 90. Now if we say 90, is it going to turn the other side or this side? This side, let us see. Otherwise we'll change the angle. And so this was the angle, or this was the, okay. Radius is what, 20, correct? So let us say, right, what happens? Ooh, no. So probably this is 180. This is probably what, 180. So yeah. Correct? But it is facing in the wrong direction. So at the end of it, I have to again turn it by 90. And that is my block. So I will, the moment I see that, right, I am going to turn that into a block. There you go. And now it's facing correctly for me. Is that correct? So this particular block, right, is what I need to draw the curve. Okay, so I am going to make a block. I am going to say draw square curve. Okay, and in this, let me clean up things. So where did I go? Draw square curve, right? Now this is not what I need. Let me get it properly where it was. So this is that block. Now what about this? What was this number? This we don't change. Is this something we should change? That is the radius, right? Radius. And this goes here. Okay. Now where did that square code go? This is the square reference and this is the curved edges form. And this is where I am now going to turn. Is that correct? So turn by 90 degrees and I am going to say draw square curve of, what is the radius now? 20. We will eventually take it from the inputs. Now if I go back and put this all together, is that correct? So we should try moving forward. Okay. Now let the square reference be there, and where is the other one? Curved edges, right? This was the one. So let us move this one step. Okay. Now, by how much should I move next? By size? That's straightforward, right? So I'll move by size, which is given to me. So move by size. Loop down, I guess. Size and turn, right? What do we do? Move and turn. So turn by 90 degrees. Oops, because I didn't do clean up. Now if I say the same step again, right? That is draw square curve. See what happens, okay? Draw square curve and 20. Notice what it will do. It's drawn the other one. So I just need to repeat the same process again and again now. Move. Correct? Third one. And then fourth one. Correct? What should we do next? We have to get it back at the center. We have drawn all. So how do we get it back at the center? Center is half of the size up
And right.
and half of the size
Right.
right. So that is simple enough. So move forward half the size. So operator, that is your size by 2. Always test, okay? Test in small intervals whether it is happening. And then right. So right is your 90. So turn 90 and do the same step again. Move. Alright? What is remaining now is drawing that outer square. See, if I remove this square reference now, right? If I remove this square reference of 100 completely, correct? And even this, you will see what is remaining now there. So we have this. We just need to fill those outer edges. And how can we do that?
Lines.
We just have 4 points there now. What is, now can we identify which point is this, which point is this, which point is this, which point is this? It's a square without the edge. It's a square without the corners. It's the same square thing but without the corners. We just need to know the same square thing that we had. Beginning, we had a square reference created, correct? But without the corners. To do that, what we used to do, how we used to draw that square? We had a square reference. How we used to draw it? This length, we used to move left and then we used to go up. But what is the left now? What is the left? How much, by how much left? See, we have to come here. We have to get this here. So if the square is 100, how much behind should we move? 100 minus 20. That is 100 minus radius, correct? So now we need to draw that part of the reference, correct? So let us do this. Let us move this curved edges somewhere out. Let us create that block. And basically the idea will be same. What I will do is I will simply start modifying the square reference. Do we need the square reference anymore? We don't need the square reference, right? But we now do need a radius. So here is how it is going to work. Okay. We have a size for square reference, but I also need a radius. Why is that important to me now? Because how much am I going to move left is a question. So we do have a curved edge, see, we do have a curved edge, but this square reference which is there, right, which is now having this radius of 20. So if I say 100, for example here, with the radius 20, curved edge, correct? I don't want this to happen. So let us go step by step here with the square reference also. Let us move this whole thing bit up. Is this required? No. This. This is not required. Clean up your code. Okay? So this as you go. So and right now, if you are not understanding this, right, when you will be looking at the video, right, trace everything on the paper, and then you will see how much distance is there. Okay. So we have a square reference. So let us go step by step. Now we do need a pen down, but take a look at this move by how much it is happening. Okay. So curve H, we have it. Okay. We need to move left here. This size is there. Move 0 minus size by 2, but not exactly 0 minus size by 2. It is 0 minus size by 2 minus the radius, correct? So what I am doing here is I will subtract the radius from here. So this minus the radius. Okay. So let us go step by step and we will move one block as we go along. So clean square reference there, and this is correct. Now we rotate. Rest of the part remains the same. We turn. But when we say move up, how much should we move up?
Size by
No, size by 2, correct. Sorry. Okay. So square. So it is correctly at the point. So next we move the old code again of 90 degrees. So it's looking at that point now. Pen down and move. But here's the question, move by how much?
the top one.
Oops.
Size minus 2 minus radius.
How much is this?
Size divided by 2.
Size divided by?
2 minus
Minus radian.
Size divided by 2 minus radius? Are you sure?
Yes.
Is it size divided by 2? It wasn't, because this was not size divided by 2 in the beginning. So it is size minus 2 times the radius. So operators, size minus, you need to multiply now. 2 times the radius. So let us see whether this has gone perfectly. If this goes perfectly, we replicate the same thing at all the places, correct? Rest everything remains the same. It did? So now what do we do? We do something very simple. Now we do pen up and move that distance, and then we replicate the same thing, correct? But we just move those two distances without it. That is one way. Other way of doing the same thing is first get him back at the center. How do we get him back at the center? How do we get him back at the center?
Half the distance down.
See, center is here, right? So how much distance should he move down?
Half the size.
So actually now I don't need this. Okay, I'll fix this away for now. Correct. So let us first turn him, right? We need to turn. So turn by 90, then move
Half the size.
same, which is here, correct? So not the whole thing, but half the size, correct? Then move him down, correct? Pen up, most important. Pen up, move down.
No, before that, before.
Oh yeah, before that, correct? So turn, move down, then again
Rotate.
rotate, left, correct? Left by 90.
No. Right by 9.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Can we see? And now we get him back.
Okay.
By how much? Same thing that we did here. So it's exact opposite of what happened above. So what you are having here is, so when he was here, it drew it on top. But now we want to do the same thing on the right. So what do we need to do? Repeat, but you have to obviously turn him right. Correct? You have to obviously turn him right. So if this is a square reference, and we have to do this whole thing for all the edges, right? I would rather say this is like the edges of the square, right? So this is not exactly a square reference. I'll edit this and I'll call it what? Square border? Curved square border. Okay? Rest everything remains the same, but I'll need one more block where I'm going to repeat the same thing 4 times. So this is going to be my curved square. Curved square of any given size and radius. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? So this is my curved square border, right? Take a look what I am doing, okay? I am going to now call my curved square, right? That is the curved square. Curved square, yeah. So I am going to do this together, okay? Curved square of size 100, radius 20. Let us do this. So, oops, what happened? Where is the curved edge? So this was the curved edge. Okay, we need a curved edge also. It drew the top one. But now over here, so this curved square which was there, curved square border. Okay, so this curved square border needs to be here. Did it? We turn right. We turn right by 90 degrees, and I call the same thing again. Right? We do the same thing again, and boom, we have it. So now I don't want these values to be like going floating around. So what I'm going to do is, where is this 100 coming from? Size, 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 radius, correct? Radius, radius, radius. Alright? Only thing I need to do is I need to go here and say run without screen refresh. Okay? Now I'll make this into a block and take size and the radius as the parameter. So create a block and say full square with round corners. Okay, and what are the 2 things I need? Size and radius. And that's what it does. So this is the size, this is the size, this is the radius, this is the radius. Am I good now? Oops. So what happened here? Did I make oh, I didn't passing. Sorry. See, I have to call this with the size, right? Otherwise by default everything becomes 0. So this is the size, this is the size, this is the radius, this is the radius, and I am now going to say square with round corners, 100, 20, and there you go. Now in my pattern, where is that pattern? I had that pattern, right? Where did that pattern go? Do I need this now? No. I'm just cleaning things up. I need a rotating square, but the function was called as a double square. Where is that double square? Where is the, okay, it's here. So let us get the double square up. Now, I don't need the curve edges or anything like that, correct? So what I need in the double square is what is that? Square with curved corners, correct? Here, 100, then 20, then turn by 45 degrees, correct? Duplicate, and then minus 45 degrees. So if I now go back, okay, do this and do a rotating square, we have it here. What is next? So the simplest thing we need to do, right, is first, before we do anything, right, is now this is rotating. So it's rotating here. We know it is rotating. Correct? So this part is rotating and all of that is completely fine. What we need to do next is we have to draw it where the mouse cursor is. We have to draw it where the mouse cursor is, correct? So how do we draw it where the mouse cursor is? Take a look. So erase all is here, correct? We go to, we need a go to, correct? We need a go to, because we have to obviously go to where the mouse cursor is. And where is the mouse pointer? Where is the mouse pointer? No, this is the X position of the sprite. So we need to go to sensing and we have to say mouse X and mouse Y. Okay. So now if we do this, okay, now if you look at the problem statement correctly, whenever this pattern is here, right, the other pattern is
opposite this.
Make your problem more accurate as possible. It's exactly opposite. And whenever we say exactly opposite, what comes into picture?
Minus.
0 minus. 0 minus for what?
Go to mouse X.
So 0 minus. So you have this double square here, right? So I'll again say go to what? So we need two 0 minuses there, right? 0, 0, mouse X and mouse Y, correct? And then draw the double square again. And then here is the rotating square. Okay? So if I do this, okay? So only thing that I need now is I am going to go to sensing, events, click.
And say on the flex click.
And I need this rotating square
I need
at
the
the end.
rotating square at the end.
So rotating square.
So rotating square.
There you go.
There you go.
We started at
We started at
9:45.
9:40.
Then I told a story.
Then I told a story.
So we started at 10 and this is 11:07. We did it in within 1 hour.
We did it
Without having any previous code
without
for the
having
reference
any
completely from scratch.
Completely from scratch.
Now I have seen what all the submissions have been. There have been like thousands of parameters floating around, some unused items lying around, clones, duplicate sprites.
Duplicate sprite.
Did you see any clones here?
Did you see any clones here?
Because you need to define the things correctly. I think all of you in your mind were saying there are two drawings
There
there.
are two drawings there.
So the moment you were saying there are two drawings there, right?
Two drawings there.
You were saying, oh, you know what, I need to clone something because I need to make a duplicate of it.
To make a duplicate of it.
It was never that.
It was never that.
This is one drawing with two
One
squares
drawing with two squares
at any point of time.
at any point of time.
If at all there was a difficult part, right? The only difficult part in the very first exercise was drawing that curve with the square with the curved edge.
Square with the
Rest everything was this
rest
direct.
everything was this.
In you one point,
When you one
you
point,
always move the other point by minus of
the
it.
other point by minus of it.
See, no flickering.
See, no flickering.
How many of you got a feedback that there was
How many of you
flickering?
got a feedback that there was flickering?
For first.
Then it is not wobbling.
Then it is not wobbling.
And plus we can control whatever size we want.
Control whatever size you want.
Always start with the problem statement in the first place, right? What am I having
Right?
first?
What am I having first?
At first I need
At first
the
I
square
need
with the curve.
Square. With a curve.
But wait, before that I need a square.
Before that
Then I need a pattern. Let's
Then
put
I
the
need a
pattern
pattern.
first, right? Then let us worry about how to put the curve there.
How to put the curve there.
And now this is with one way of drawing the
With
curve.
one way of drawing the curve.
How many ways are there to draw a
How many
circle?
ways are there to draw a circle?
Using 8.
There is one around that goes around the
Goes
circumference
around the circumference.
using the edge.
Using the edge.
Correct? Then there was this was the second method. Which is the third method.
Which is the
Which was
third
recently
method.
shared.
Which was recently shared.
Yeah, there was sine and cosine
There
also,
was
right?
sine and cosine.
I mean, you probably had to use sine and
You
cosine,
probably had to
right?
use
Half of those
sine and
move and
half of
those things wouldn't have been required.
Those things wouldn't
But that was